Brian Windhorst seems to believe that he is in possession of the time stone and he can just erase what he said already and come on. And actually, maybe it's the reality stone, or maybe it's both, because he's just blabbering now as if what he actually said and did doesn't matter. And even scarier than what he's doing is that maybe it works. I've said it before. I don't think the current fan base cares about reality. Keep feeding them lies, keep feeding them what they've already decided that they believe in, and it doesn't matter. I'm not even sure why these people are fans of the game. They're fans of a reality show now. I don't know why they care so badly to believe in the lies that are being told to them when the whole thing is just manufactured now. And we talk a lot about consequences. We talk about accountability on here. We even talked about spankings in last Saturday's live show. Where are the consequences when these analysts just backtrack all over themselves and won't stand up for what they said? Where are the consequences? These people are supposed to believe in what they said and stand by it. And I'm not talking about the consequences that these people are really afraid of, which seem to be whatever consequences they're going to face against the LeBron James Mafia. I'm talking about consequences for not doing their job correctly. Consequences from fan bases. They don't seem to suffer. How many times have they done this backtracking and there aren't any consequences, which, leads to me asking again, man, there seems to be only one thing these people are afraid of, and that's upsetting LeBron James. So it's also scary that Windhorst isn't even close to the first example. I mean, how many examples do we have just in the last year of people who have said something that's even remotely tiny, in the tiniest way, resembling criticism of something in the LeBron James camp, whether it be LeBron James himself, whether it be Bronny? How many people have just had to fall over backwards to change what they said, to correct what they said, to pretend that they didn't say it, to slather on compliments? Why doesn't that freak anyone out? Why doesn't that freak anyone out? Even if LeBron James was as great as LeBron fans think he is, that should still freak you out. If people were behaving this way over any player, I think you should be freaking out. And in this case, Brian Windhorst even went so far as to bring in the help of other journalists. And, Dan, can you have me on your show? I got a call from Klutch Sports, and my life might be in danger. And I've got to do some serious damage control here. Oh, sure. I've had to do it myself, says Dan Patrick. Oh, and don't let me forget to come back to Colin Cowherd, that disgusting piece of trash, because he's also trying to alter reality or use the time stone. We'll come back. But he needs to face some severe consequences. Let's get into the details of what's wrong with Windhorst, with what Windhorst is saying in this case. Number one, he is complaining about this era and taking things out of context. That's always been a problem. And if anyone should know better, it's you, because you are a journalist and you're one of the people who's been guilty of it. Pick and choose exactly what you want to hone in on. And then he talks about Twitter. He's like, people will only look at the tweet. I'm like, dude, you're the Twitter king. You're the social media king. What are you talking about? Why are you acting like you don't exist in this world? But more importantly, he kept talking about, people will remove just a paragraph from everything else that you said. No, No, there's no paragraph involved. I watched your face in a video and your mouth moving while you said all of this, and it wasn't short. It wasn't short, Brian. You went on for a while about how absurd it is, the special treatment that Bronny is getting. And you said, oh, I was fine up until this point, and they finally went too far. And this is bad. This is bad for Bronny. This is bad for the Lakers. It's even bad for LeBron James to an extent. These are your words, Brian Windhorst. I'll also add, what's that saying? That if you have to talk forever to explain something, you're probably full of crap. So he's going on and on and on, trying to explain away what he already said and still exists, as far as I know. I mean, maybe there is a Reality Stone blast wave that went out there and I'm the only one who didn't get hit. How are people not seeing this shit? It's really reached an absurd level. And I told some of the other panelists, I really can't. I really can't. If people are so intent on believing in lies, what can I say? I made an effort, and we're just too far gone as a species to even care anymore. I don't want to put that disgusting lying blob up on the screen, but do I have to for due diligence? Or can you guys go and look at the clips yourself? I'll tell you what, I'll give you a pre-warning. I'm going to put the clips up, and you can skip ahead if you don't want to look.
From my understanding, he's only going to play in the South Bay Lakers home games, that he's only going to kind of be a part-time G League player. I don't like that. I don't know whose idea it was. Obviously, the Lakers are fine with it. They're doing it. I've now, on this particular instance, I think that's gone too far. As you know, Dan, you can say something for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then one paragraph gets pulled out, and it's like you lose all the context. That's reality. That's reality. That's reality.
No. Reality can be whatever I
want. Let's listen again.
I'm going to apply the brakes on my everything's fine on the Bronny front with this thing that's now happening, which is that from my understanding, he's only going to play in the South Bay Lakers home games, that he's only going to kind of be a part-time G League player. And he's not getting on United Airlines and going to fly and go see these playing these road games now, because honestly, like, I know he was getting so much special treatment and nepotism. That's fine. Honestly, I don't care. Like I said, it's normal. Now I think it's actually detrimental to him. I don't like that. I don't know whose idea it was. Obviously, the Lakers are fine with it. They're doing it. I've now, on this particular instance, I think that's gone too far. And I don't think that benefits Bronny. I don't think it benefits the South Bay Lakers. And I don't think it benefits LeBron at that point. What I said, and I'll say again, was that I am totally on board with the whole Bronny James thing with the Lakers. I'm going to apply the brakes on my everything's fine on the Bronny front. Totally on board with the whole Bronny James thing with the Lakers. I'm going to apply the brakes on my everything's fine on the Bronny front.
Now, Brian, you could claim that people left out 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs, and it won't stop the other paragraphs from existing. You said them. You said that you reached your threshold. You are no longer totally fine with it. You specifically said the reasons that this plan was bad and who it was bad for. We didn't misinterpret you. And this arrogant, disgusting blob had the nerve to smugly say, and I'll say it again. What I said was, and I'll say it again, we heard you the first time. You're the one who can't hear yourself. And you know what? Skip some meals. Take that budget that's helping you stay morbidly obese and send those funds to Quincy Olivari's family. Y'all robbed him together. It's painful to listen to any of these. I only hear the clips when I'm listening to other content creators. I don't go and listen to any of these piece of trash analysts directly. So I'm not going to make myself suffer through all of them. But I did see that Windhorst came out with something now saying LeBron isn't getting enough credit. All we hear about is LeBron James while his teammates get thrown under the bus. How much more credit can you give the guy? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And all the headlines about him dominating. Oh, right. That brings me back to Colin Cowherd. And I don't want to spend any more time on these different analysts because they're all spewing out so much crap you can't keep up with it. Look how much time I wasted today. I got sucked right back into something I said I wasn't going to do anymore because it's so unbelievable. But the problem is all you have to do is go back and look at reality for the truth, and no one is choosing to do so. I broke down what Michael Jordan looked like with the Wizards compared to LeBron James. I compared Michael at 39 to LeBron at 38. And when LeBron turns 40, maybe I'll do another one of Michael at 40 versus LeBron at 40, because it's not even close. You guys want to go and look at these empty stats like Colin Cowherd and say that LeBron James is dominating. How many videos have I already made showing that the stats don't matter anymore? Go and look at the effort. I mean, I don't even have to use Michael. Everybody looked like they were putting out more effort than LeBron James is currently doing. Freaking Popeye Jones, Jahidi White. Names that you've never heard before I mentioned them. And if you have, it's only because they played on that lowly Wizards team where Michael Jordan was still hustling his ass off at both ends. Colin Cowherd needs to face consequences for lying. If anyone should know better, it's these people who are paid to report on sports. Instead, they're lying for a narrative. He needs to face consequences. We go back to what I already said about you stop and you look, and LeBron James is actually embarrassing to watch. And he doesn't play by the rules. He's allowed to not play by the rules, and he still looks bad, even with the rule changes on his side. So
totally on board with the whole Bronny James thing with the Lakers. I think it was a smart move to draft him. I think it was a great move to bring him around the team because the 55th pick in the draft hits a single-digit percentage of the time. And if the Lakers can use the 55th pick on Bronny James and get a more engaged LeBron this year, I don't care if it's a single-digit percentage more engaged LeBron. It's a good investment.
You got to wonder how long it'll be before Windhorst comes back and tells us we didn't understand him on that one either. He's going to time stone everything that he says and just keep time stoning it until it works out. There's so many things wrong with what he said in that short period of time. Let me break them down really quick and then we'll come back to him. One, if LeBron fans don't understand how disgusting it is that manipulating an organization in order to motivate someone who is also called the greatest and has done so much for the game and has a lot left in the tank and is Iron Man, is unstoppable and is one of the best players in the league and all these other lies and is being paid $50 million a year. And that guy needs to be incentivized to play or play a little bit harder or whatever Windhorst's disgusting excuses here. Well, again, if you don't understand that, I don't know what to say. Things went wrong early in your upbringing. The 55th pick doesn't really matter argument falls short when you did, in fact, use picks to try and see who would fit on your roster and not fit on your roster. And Bronny has to go down to the G League because he's so terrible. And now, because you don't want Bronny to look bad, you won't bring Quincy back up, who could be helping your team. What the Lakers are doing with their available roster is directly related to who they picked at number 55, so don't pretend that it doesn't matter. I thought about going live just because I wanted to hear some people call in and give their own answers, but the real answer I'm looking for, I would be wanting to hear from a LeBron fan to try and explain away how it's a good idea to shelter Bronny from road games, to shelter him from developing any chemistry from his teammates, how it is good for the Lakers to bring Bronny back into the NBA and then play him in garbage minutes. You know, I guess you're giving Bronny experience in real NBA games in moments that don't matter. But look what you did with a roster spot. You're using up a roster spot in order to give somebody who doesn't deserve to be in the NBA and is barely making it in the G League. You want that person to have garbage minutes just so they can have some sort of experience in the NBA. Don't turn around and complain about your roster. Don't complain about the depth of the roster when you're doing stuff like that. You clearly have other priorities. Does anyone even remember that sports analysts were supposed to be critical? Their job was to be critical. Their job was to point out things that you or I might have missed. Now it's you and I pointing out the things that they're trying to hide. There's no way that they're watching these games and not seeing what I'm showing you. It's too easy for me to go and grab those clips of LeBron James just being an absolute joke. I mean, not just bad, but like comical levels of mediocrity, comical levels of bad attitude, comical levels of laziness, comical levels of looking tired, comical levels of just seeming to not even care. They're working overtime to try and tell people that these things don't exist. And if you're happy with that storyline and you just don't care what's really happening, I don't know what to say. All right, I can't. I'm done.